Hey, what is up? What is up? How you doing, everyone, on a Wednesday? So what I'm going to do is a live on what would I do if I had to start again. What would I do in the first 30 days in the industry of flipping inventory, buying and selling inventory? What would I do in the first 30 days if I had to start from scratch, okay, with literally nothing more than a laptop and Wi-Fi? So no connections, no contacts, no suppliers, no buyers, nothing whatsoever. What would I do if I had to come into this business again with literally nothing to my name apart from a computer and a Wi-Fi? So obviously, this is going to help you guys very much who are very new to this business or thinking about coming into this business, because there's actually a method in this madness. There's actually a game plan. There's a system of what everyone should be doing when they are coming into this business and they've got no contacts whatsoever. So very, very important part of this industry is literally the backbone of your business. If you come into this industry, very, very, very important thing is connections. Okay, so if I was brand new to this business, completely brand new, the first thing that I would need to be doing is, from starting from scratch, the first thing I would need to be doing is to start building some connections. Now, the great thing, guys, the great thing about building contacts, building connections all online, is that it's free. It's free of charge. Like, there's so much data, there's so much free information online to go out there and start building connections very, very, very quickly as well. So you can actually start building contacts across whatever industry. I'll talk about that in a minute. When you're starting from scratch and you start building connections, the online space, the sheer amount of data, of free data out there on the internet to build contacts, and it's very, very cost effective because it's free. Like, you can build highly valuable contacts free of charge, completely free of charge. All it's costing you is your time. That's all it's costing you. It's not costing you anything in financial terms. So what I would be doing is, if I was starting in this business from scratch, the first thing I would be thinking about is, right, I need to be finding contacts. I need to be building some connections in this industry. Now, all the contacts that you make in this business are either connections to buy from or connections to sell to, okay, one or the other. So there's always going to be connections that you build that you can either get offered inventory from or to offer inventory to, okay. So there's two sections of connections that you're going to be building from scratch: buyer connections, supplier connections. Okay, now the great thing about building connections is, apart from your time doing this, which is what I would be doing if I was doing it from scratch, I'd be putting all my time into building connections, like from the ground up, from zero to hundreds, thousands I'd be focusing on building connections, because at the end of the day, you cannot run an inventory broker business or inventory flipping business without connections. Now, I'm still building connections right now, 30 years into this business. I'm still doing what I would be doing if I was starting from scratch in this business. That's the crazy thing, because we make our money on the back of the connections that we make and keeping in contact with those connections that we make. And we are basically looking at our connections as a long-term investment, meaning that we might not do business with the connections that we make in the first 30 days, okay? Now, as I say, if I came into this with nothing at all and I started from scratch, for the first 30 days, all I would focus on is building connections. I wouldn't even think about doing any deals whatsoever. All I would be thinking about is building connections across whatever product category that I decide, and then just keep building and building and building those connections. And that's the backbone of this business. So what you're doing is you're building the foundations of a inventory broker business by building a network of connections that you can either get offered inventory from, or that you can offer your inventory deals to potential buyers. Okay, so you got your potential suppliers, you got your potential buyers. Now, before I would even start building connections from day one, what I would be doing for the first few days is I would be doing product research. Now, product research is as important as building contacts, because you can't just throw shots in the dark and hope that you're just going to get somewhere in this business. You've got to plan what type of businesses you want to connect with, what type of companies you want to connect with, what type of product categories you want to focus on, what type of industries you want to deep dive into. Okay, that is really important. I see a lot of people just doing randomly just connecting with anyone. And what you need to be doing is you need to be focusing on a specific product category or industry. So let me talk about that a little. So when I say focusing on a product category, if you're doing product research on a product category, what I call a product category can mean a very broad product category, something very broad. Like let's use a few examples. So toys, for example. Toys is a very broad product category. Okay, very, very broad indeed. If you think about all the sub-product categories within the toy product category, there's like hundreds of different categories within that toy product category. There's electronic toys, there's board games, there's educational products, there's baby toys, kids toys, there's let me think. There's obviously figures, the little figure toys that you can get, soft toys, trying to think of more, collectible toys, gifty type toys, that you can give as gifts. Like, there's loads of different categories of toys. And so what I'm doing is, at the beginning, if I'm starting in this business from scratch, I would be really, really deep diving into a specific product category, and really studying, what that industry consists of. I wouldn't just be just throwing, just contacting any random company whatsoever. I'd be really deep diving into a specific industry. or product category, and really getting to know that industry. So where would I be looking to do some really deep product research? I mean, guys, the Bible of finding information are places like eBay, Amazon, to look at product categories. However, you can find big online retailers who are specific to that one product category. So, for example, I can't think of any big toy companies anymore, but obviously you used to have Toys R Us. I think there's Toy Master, but there's some big online toy retailers, for example, and you can look at all their product categories. You can click on all their different product categories that they offer. They've got so many different categories, and that is the same for every single product category that you actually choose. If you focused on cosmetics product category, that's very broad. You've got 1 million different categories within that cosmetics product category. Same with clothing, same with sports products, same with pharmaceuticals, same with building supplies, same with DIY products, same with food. All these broad product categories. You need to be, before you start building connections, if you're coming into this business, as I say, if I was starting right from scratch with nothing, no contacts whatsoever, I'd be really, really deep diving into product categories online. I'd be doing lots and lots of research, and I'd be writing out lists of, sub product categories, and even lists of actual specific products within that product category that I wanted to go and look for. So when I say go and look for, what I'd be actually looking for is companies in that sector, some companies in that industry. And in the first few days of starting out from scratch with no contacts whatsoever, I'd be just building lists of ideas, product ideas of what I want to go and look for. Okay, and once I've done that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going online. I'm going to be doing lots of Google searches. I'm going to be searching, for lots of companies who are related to that product or product category that I've chosen. And I'm going to be reaching out to these companies. There's ways of reaching out to them. Various letters that I use. I can reach out to them maybe on email. I might reach out to them through LinkedIn, through the LinkedIn platform, and find a specific person that I can reach out to in that company. And what I'm basically going to be doing is, for the first 30 days of starting in this business from scratch with no connections, I'm just going to focus on building connections. I'm not interested in trying to get money in the bank at this stage. I'm just trying to build a backbone to this business, some foundations. There's no deals going to be done without connections. Simple as. You're not going to sell anything to any buyers without building connections. You're not going to get offered any inventory without any connections. So a lot of people come into this game, and I see it as well. A lot of people kind of take the shortcut and try and do deals, but without really having any solid foundations of connections that you can build and build and build and build forever. That's the great thing about this business, is that it's never ending building connections. So what I'm telling you, what I would be doing the first 30 days if I was coming into this business from scratch, I'm doing that now, guys. I'm doing it now, years and years later. I'm still building connections, every week. And that enables me to not only deal with my old connections that I've built, but deal with brand new connections that I've built. And as I say, guys, you never know what deals around the corner from those new connections that you build. So we make... I encourage people to build connections on a regular basis. Like, that is the holy grail. Like, it's the holy grail of this business, building connections. And there's loads of great time effective ways of doing it. So, so let's say I've got 30 days to build connections. If I wanted to just build connections on the back of LinkedIn, like, if you sign up to LinkedIn, which is free, okay, you're allowed to make 20 new connections each day, okay. I could build 20 connections each day, 20 connections related to one specific product or product category, and I could keep changing that each day. 20 connections for one product, 20 connections for another product. At the end of each day, after 7 days, I could have built 140 connections, okay? Now, that's not bad, the first 7 days building 140 connections. That's assuming that they all accept my connection requests. So, round it down to 100 maybe. So 100 a week. I could potentially make 100 new connections per week with people who work for companies who are, work for companies that are specific to that product that I am looking for. So if I'm looking for, footwear, if I'm looking for some footwear deals, maybe I'm looking for a surplus inventory of some footwear, ladies or men's or kids footwear. If that's something that I want to go and look for, I would start building connections of people that work in companies that are related to footwear, okay? And I'd do it again with another type of product, and I'd do it again with another type of product. But I'd really, really deep dive into these specific types of companies. And remember, guys, and a lot of people make this mistake, and still make that mistake years and years later. You don't just because we're in the surplus business, we don't make connections with people in our business. Okay? We're not making connections with other surplus companies, or they're our competitors, guys. We don't want to be buying off other surplus companies. Like, to this day, I still get offered inventory from people in my coaching programs, people in the industry, and I say, who have you been offered it from? Oh, it's a surplus company. Guys, if you've been offered stock from a surplus company, like, it's just it's just game over. You're not gonna do any deals with other people, other surplus companies. What I'm teaching here, guys, is starting from day one, okay? You're building connections of companies who are, they are direct. They are direct at source, okay? They are manufacturers. They are importers. They are distributors. They are, importers, exporters, maybe even retailers, wholesalers. But they are not surplus companies. They don't specialize in surplus goods, okay? They just deal in regular goods, regular ongoing goods that they've manufactured, that they've imported, that they distribute, that they import, that they export. It's not surplus or clearance. What we're aiming to do is buy any surplus off these companies, when it becomes available, okay? When they get something that becomes surplus or unwanted or unused or slow moving, anything they want to get rid of, that they're the companies that we want to be buying off. We don't want to be buying off other surplus companies, other stock lot companies, other clearance companies. No. Okay, now, as far as buyers are concerned, yes, we can sell to buyers, we can sell to surplus companies. They're okay to sell to, but not to buy from, guys, okay? No. Trust me, you can spend time on trying to deal and trying to buy from other surplus stock companies with pleasure, okay? Trust me, I've tried and tried over the years and it doesn't work. Just doesn't work, okay? So, what I'm doing, guys, is... This is what I'm doing in the first 30 days. I'm going to be building connections from day one. Without spending any money, I'm going to be building connections because it's completely free of charge. It's not going to cost me anything apart from my time each day. I can build 100 contacts a day quite easily, either through Google or LinkedIn, and over a week, even if I was just doing the LinkedIn method and making 100 new connections every week, guys, after 30 days, I've already built 400 connections. Okay, and on the back of those 400 connections, I'm going to be reaching out to those people. And what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be basically seeing if I can do some business with these people. And what I would be doing at that point is, if I get offered any inventory, obviously, if I'm coming into this from scratch, I need to find buyers, guys. What am I going to do if I'm offered that inventory? I would be approaching people initially. I would be approaching people who are already in this industry, okay? So I would be approaching people like me, who's already in this business. So, I'd be approaching surplus companies and brokers and middlemen who are all involved in this business, and I'd be showing them these sort of deals that I'm getting offered. But what I would expect in the first month is probably not to be offered any inventory. I would just be focusing on building connections, and the main aim for me is just to start learning about products, product research, and how to find these types of companies, and just really clicking around the internet, spending hours and hours a day just clicking around and reaching out to companies that are in specific industries that I want to connect with. And I'm not going to be spending any, as I say, I'm not going to be spending money on building these connections. The wonderful thing, guys, think about it. You can connect with people high up in businesses. You can connect with, directors of companies, people high up in companies you can connect with. And it's free. It's free of charge. It costs nothing to reach out to people. And I'll tell you what, the biggest asset, the biggest investment you can make in this business when you first come into it, the biggest investment you can make is your time building these connections. And if you've built several hundred connections at the end of 30 days, what you want to be doing is you want to be repeating that process. You want to be learning how to build these connections and then doing it again, rinse and repeat, but doing it for different products, and basically just testing different product categories all the time. Focus on different products, different product categories, different industries, and don't just think retail goods, think non-retail, think any industry, doesn't matter what industry, any physical products, any companies that sell physical products, don't have to be your typical retail products. So, you've got to be, when you come into this business and you're starting from scratch, you've got to be very, very, very open-minded with what you're looking for. You can't come into this business thinking, right, I'm going to find some designer brand clothing, or I'm going to find some brand name electrical products. I'm going to find some brand name toiletries. That is a really saturated part of the industry. People searching for brand name products. Everyone, every man and his dog out there is looking for branded goods. It's a very, very, what I call red ocean of our industry, where everyone, like probably 99% of people, are looking for your brand name products. You don't need to, guys. I make at least 5 figures a month from buying and flipping inventory that, like, no one's ever heard of. No one's heard of the name. Like, there's no brand to it. It's not a brand name. Even some products, they're not even really well known. Some products that I buy and sell, no one would even know what they are. No one would even have a clue what the product is. Like, you can buy and sell things that a lot of people haven't got a clue what they are. But there's buyers out there for that type of product. I sold some chemicals last week in Italy, and that comes under the chemicals industry. But the type of chemicals that I bought and sold, I didn't have a clue what they were. Not a clue what those chemicals were. I didn't have a clue what they were for. I didn't have a clue what they were used for or anything. And it didn't even matter. I didn't even want to know. It didn't even matter. All I needed to know was what my buyer wanted to pay me for them and what I could buy them for. It didn't matter what the product was or what it was for. You don't need to know. You don't need to build your knowledge. That's another thing that you don't need to focus on. If I was coming into this in the first 30 days, yeah, I can do product research, but I don't need to know what that products are for. I don't need to build expertise on that product. I don't need to build super knowledge on those types of products. All I'm looking for is the names of products. I don't need to know what they are or what they're for. I just need names. Basically, if I'm building a list of, let's say, I don't know, construction materials. Like, think of all the things that go into building a property, or something. All those different materials. Like, there's loads of different materials that go into building something. I only want to know the names of those things. I don't need to know what they're for or what they do. You don't need to do that. You just need to build the names of these products. And then, literally go searching for connections that are related to that product. Okay? Now, a few other methods that I would be using if I, came into this business and I was starting from nothing. First 30 days, I would also, as well as doing Google searches and LinkedIn searches, I would be doing, I'd be reaching out to local warehousing companies, maybe around my region where I live to start with. Warehousing companies, logistics companies, shipping companies, storage companies, freight companies. They're all similar, just different names really. And see if they've got any inventory sitting in their warehouse. I would be posting on social media, and you'd be very surprised what you can get on the back of posting something on Facebook or LinkedIn and saying, I'm looking for surplus inventory. Does anyone work for a company that sells, physical products? Do you work for a company, or does your partner, wife, husband, mum, dad, brother, sister work for a company that sells physical products? You might have a friend, you might have a connection on Facebook or LinkedIn on Facebook certainly, that knows someone that works for maybe a manufacturer. Maybe they know someone who works for a distributor or an importer. So it's always worth reaching out to your friends' connections on Facebook. You'd be very, very surprised what you can get on the back of those existing connections. Another thing that I do as well is, which I always say to people, is scroll through your phone contacts on your mobile phone, because basically, a lot of us have got phones that we've had for a long time, and we build a lot of connections, don't we, on our mobile phones? How many of us keep in touch with all of them? None of us do, probably. What we tend to do is we tend to build connections over the years of people that we have crossed paths with through our lives, through our careers, through our working life. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We build these connections on our phone and literally start reaching out to these people that you remember from years ago. Send them a text or a WhatsApp. Ask them what they're up to. See if they've got any surplus. And, that's what I'd be doing for the first 30 days in this business. That's what I'd be doing if I was starting from scratch, guys. So you get the gist of what I'm doing here. Is everything that I'm doing if I was coming into this game and I was starting with fucking nothing, no contacts whatsoever, I would just be focusing on building connections. After 30 days, I could have, if I put the time in, if I put several hours a day into it, I could have a few thousand, at least a couple of thousand connections. And that could be, companies that I found on Google. It could be companies I found on eBay, Amazon, LinkedIn, and I would be getting into conversations with as many people as possible. Now, obviously, if I was brand new to this business, that's a side of things that you don't really know what to do. And if you suddenly got offered some inventory, you wouldn't know what to do. You'd be a bit sort of overwhelmed and panicking, thinking, I've reached out to this company and they've offered me some stock. I don't know what to do. What should I do? And so, guys, this is the type of stuff that I teach in my program, from building connections, through to getting offered inventory from companies, how to reach out to these types of companies, what to say to them. I give you my letter templates. I give you my done for you templates that you send out to these companies that you reach out to. Okay, these are tested letter templates that I've tested over the years that get their attention, and you will know what information to ask for. And then what we do at that point is you would work with me one-to-one when you come into my program. I actually work one-to-one, through email or LinkedIn or WhatsApp, or even, get on a call. But generally, I like to do things at speed. So, normally the communication is email, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, all these online messenger platforms. And we would work on those deals that you get offered from these connections that you've built. And what happens is I will put your offers in front of my network of buyer connections. And, you know, the thing is, guys, what you've got with me is you've got a guy that kind of can give you the shortcuts in this business. Instead of you trying to do this yourself and hitting walls all the time. Like, you're going to hit walls even if you come into the program. But you're going to hit walls quicker, and you're going to jump over the wall quicker as well, because you're going to know what to do quicker. Okay, you're gonna learn from me things quicker as well. You're going to know, you know, what a good offer is and what a shit offer is, basically, and you know, you're going to work on deals. And basically, what happens is we start to build a pipeline of these offers that are coming through. You know, these offers are coming through from these connections that you've built, and you start building a pipeline, what we call a pipeline of inventory offers that are coming through, and we're stacking these offers up, okay, and we're working on some of them. Some of them are not happening, some of them are happening, and then we're putting the wheels in motion to get some of these deals over the line with my network of buyers, or the buyers that you've found yourself. And that's basically the outline or a bird's eye view of how the coaching program works. Okay, there's very much a system to this. Okay, and a lot of it can be very, very time effective as well, so that basically I can be working on your deals, you know, while you're focused on building more connections and getting more inventory offers. I can be busy working on your deals while you're asleep, basically. And that's why I always say that, you know, a lot of the income that you can make from this industry can be very passive, because while I'm working on your deals and doing the legwork, you can be, you know, sat back focusing on finding more deals, finding more inventory deals. And the more deals that you find, the more chance of getting a deal over the line, and more deals over the line on a regular basis. But you've got to have a lot going on. You've got to have a lot going on at once, guys, okay? You know, so that is what I will be doing in the first 30 days. Not only that, I'll be doing it in the next 30 days and the next year, the next few years, on and so on, is building connections. Like, the more connections that you build in this business, basically the more successful you're going to get. It's as simple as that. It's literally a numbers game. It's a numbers game, like any business. So, you know, as I say, what I'm doing now is pretty much what I would be doing in the first 30 days. I'll be, you know, focusing on building connections each day, consistently as well. You know, I wouldn't do like a day and then have a day off or a few days off and then do it again. Like, to be successful in this game, guys, you've got to be prepared to build connections every day. Like, at least Monday to Friday. Even if it's 10 or 20 connections a day, you've got to be doing it every single day. Like a habit. You've got to be addicted to doing it each day. And that is one of the secrets of this business, of doing well in this business, is building new connections every day, but doing it consistently every day as well. Because you never know what deals you're going to get on the back of those new connections you make. So guys, that gives you an idea on, you know, what I would personally do if I had to start from scratch, and what I would do if I came into this the first 30 days. And you know, yeah, it's all about your connections. Okay, no, you're not going to get profit in the bank without finding a buyer And you're not going to find a buyer without being offered some inventory. And you're not going to get offered some inventory without building some supplier connections. Okay, so it's like that. It's like that, you know. Once you've got all that in place, once you've got your connections in place, and then you've got your buyers in place, then you know, there's deals to be done. Okay, there's deals to be done. But you've got to keep, like, building connections. You've got to keep consistent. You've got to keep taking action and keep going. And, you know, I won't expect much in the first few months. The secret, again, to this business is be patient and, you know, keep building and building and building. And then eventually that money will start dripping through. That money will start dripping through more and more on a more regular basis. Okay. So yeah, guys, that's what I do if I came into the inventory flipping business. You know, brand new, from scratch, first 30 days. That is what I do, guys. So I hope that helps. But yeah, as I say, if you want to really deep dive into this business, and you know, if it resonates with you, then what I'll do is I'll put a link above the video, and you can click on there and you can book a free call with me where we can talk about, you know, what are you doing right now, what are your monthly goals, how much do you want to be making. You know, let's just have a look at where you're at and see where you want to go, and you know, let me see if you're a good fit for my type of business. You might not be, okay, and let's see if, you know, we're a good fit for you. So yeah, if you want to, you know, have a chat, you're welcome to click on the link. And by the way, you know, when you do get on a call with me, I'm not one of these pressure selling type of guys. You know, what normally happens is, before you get on the call, I will send you some information for you to look at, read about, some videos that you can look at, watch some case study videos. By the time you've seen that information, guys, by the time you get on the call, you will already know whether you want to get into this business or not, okay? And so that's why there's no selling involved on these calls whatsoever. You already know if you want to come into this program before we get on the call, okay? I'm not getting on the phone to sell anyone. I'm not pitching you whatsoever, okay? You should already know by the time you get on the call whether you want to come into this business and get into the program. You should already know, guys. So it's, you know, the call is more about, you know, any final questions that you might have before before we get you set up and started in this business. And obviously, you know, you probably want to hear about the actual cost of the program as well, which I'll never discuss until we get on the call, okay? But what I will say is, when we do get on a call, I always offer a discount to people who actually get on the call with me, okay? What I call a same-day decision makers discount. So when you get on the call, I make you an actual offer with a discount to make a same-day decision. And the only reason I do that is because what I found was the guys that want to jump straight in and get started, you know, they make a quick decision. So what I decided to do was just give a discount on the call, same day decision makers discount. So after that day that we've been on the call, the price goes back to full price, okay, which would be double the amount. It's not a selling technique whatsoever. It's just I like people who are hungry and have that desire to get started immediately. And the ones that have got that burning desire to get started immediately, they don't think about the price, okay? They don't think about that. They just think about, they don't think about how much it costs. They think about how much they're going to make, okay? And that's how they look at it, guys. You know, what I say to people is don't look at, you know, short-term sacrifices of investing some money. Look at the long-term gains, okay? The long-term gains of, you know, learning something, a skill that will pay you back forever. Guys, I'm not even trying to bloody sell anything. You know, it's all about you. Simple as, it's all about you. How hungry are you to make some money in this business? Like, you know, that's what it's all about, really. You know, what you want out of life. So, yeah, that's it, guys. So, what I'm going to be doing very soon, I'm going to be doing a live, just before I go, I'm going to be doing very soon a live Zoom. This is probably not for my existing students. What I'm going to be doing is a live Zoom on basically how to buy and sell anything, like how to flip pallets or even truckloads of inventory without any money down. Okay, I'm going to explain exactly how that process works. So, you know, there's ways to do deals in this business. Like any size deal, you can move, you know, truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of goods in this business without using a cent of your own money, a penny of your own money. There are, you know, there's 3 different ways of doing it, guys. So I'm thinking of doing a live Zoom on something like that. So, but it's not for the guys already in my program. You know, I already teach this shit in my program. So you don't need to come and watch it. You can if you want, but you just focus on you know what you're already doing. So yeah, right. All the best, guys. Gonna leave it at that. Hope you got some value out of this. And you know, if anyone's got any questions after you've watched the video, you know, put in the comments and I will answer them a bit later. Alright, my friends, catch up with you very, very soon. All the best.